Hello everyone, Adam here, and today we will be discussing the Hunter, the first major creature that we encounter in Little Nightmares 2. Of course, if you like this video, remember to leave a like and consider subscribing. Also check out the rest of my Little Nightmares content in the description below. I have full walkthroughs for Little Nightmares 1 and 2, including an explanation video about Little Nightmares 2. So let's get on to the video. Looking at the Hunter, he's an average height individual that covers himself head to toe in clothing, so we don't see any exposed flesh, and he wears a sack over his head. Interestingly, unlike the other creatures who wear masks like the janitor or chef, this Hunter only wears a cheap mask compared to the rest of the cast that we encountered in Little Nightmares 1 and 2. The Hunter is also trained in taxidermy. For those who are unaware of this practice, it's when a person stuffs a dead animal's carcass to create a trophy. The reason being, when a creature is killed by a hunter, they would use all parts of the creature to honor the creature's sacrifice, consuming what is edible and using the rest of the parts as tools or decoration as not to waste anything. We also see from the dining area that the Hunter has been using his human victims for taxidermy. We've seen bodies captured in traps and the presentation of a mom, a father, and a child sitting in a dining room setting made from various human parts and other material that you would expect from taxidermy. We can also find a large set of sewing equipment and stuffing in the basement where Six is present. Looking at the Hunter himself, it may seem that he is part taxidermy as well. His right arm has stuffing coming out of it, and seeing that we do not get to look at any visible flesh, it leaves to wonder if he's not entirely human. You can argue that he's simply repairing his clothing, but judging from the amount of stuffing coming out of the jacket, I believe that this is his actual body we're seeing. It's the stuffing being exposed from a repaired arm. Now, we already know normal people did exist in this world, but due to the signal, which I go into detail in my ending explain for Little Nightmares 2, the people were drained of their life and eventually consumed by the signal, leaving nothing but their clothes behind. Judging by how much flies are around the bodies and how lanky they look, they've already gone through rigor mortis, so my guess is that some of them saw the effects of the signal and attempted to run and went into the forest where they were captured by the Hunter. We clearly see body bags everywhere in the attic, with some of them having exposed limbs. In fact, there are 4 bags, and we see throughout the house there are 4 body placements. 1 mom, 1 dad, and 1 grandmother. This has led many to believe, or at least infer, that the Hunter killed the inhabitants within the cabin and replaced them with taxidermy replicas. Now, I do have 2 theories here. 1, he's human, and after being corrupted by the signal, started to aggressively act out his practice similar to how the doctor and teacher did, hunting anyone he comes across and performing taxidermy. This is why Six is alive and being kept downstairs for so long, as seen by the tallies on the wall. Six was likely his next victim to be turned to what we saw with the bodies all over the house. Now here is my major theory about the Hunter, and it goes a bit out there, but bear with me, and if you think I'm wrong, voice your opinion down below. I believe the Hunter is actually a failed mannequin. I know this is a stretch, but what if the Hunter is an escaped victim of the doctor? He doesn't fully undergo the procedure, but lost some limbs during the process, like his right arm. This is why he covers everything up. We see no exposed flesh, and some of the body looks like stuffing is coming out of it. He's trying to repair certain body parts or try to forget what happened to him by creating human-like body parts by using stuffing and other ways he learned from taxidermy. This would also explain why there are so many broken mirrors around the house, almost like they've been smashed in. He can't look at himself anymore and what he's become. So what about the family? Well, I believe this is his family. I know, just bear with me with this theory, but look at the child. The eye is improperly placed in comparison to the other families. For the most part, are designed with correct human proportions. None of their heads, their arms, their legs, they're not overly extended or put into over proportioned ways, but that child's eye looks like it's been pulled and stretched specifically for that one model. And where does the Hunter's eye appear in the burlap sack? It's the same placement as the child. Likely a deformed but working eye, which is why he only has one opening in the sack. I do believe that that child is the hunter, and he's just creating a replica based on the image that he sees of himself. We also learned that he is taking a lot of humans, so he's basically using the human victims that he's capturing who have been running from the Pale City to replicate his family. The hunter went to the doctor after being exposed to the signal after exhibiting the corruption, but like many was captured and started to undergo the mannequin process. However, with his hunting skills, he was able to escape, but not without losing parts of himself. Then he tried to recreate those parts using the taxidermy skills he acquired while he was mostly human. The signal corrupted him as he went home to find his family gone. To revive them in his own way, started hunting and capturing humans, turning them into his family as the signal started to eat away from him. We only see one television set throughout the area, which is a bit strange, which likely means that his family was exposed to the signal and likely were consumed. While we don't see any clothing around, we do see that there's clothes within the house. His family saw the signal and was consumed by it, and when the hunter came back after being corrupted by the signal, tried to recreate his family by hunting people and using his taxidermy skills, bring them back to life. I know that's a very long stretch, but we fully still don't understand how the mannequin process goes. As far as we know, they don't die or get separated between their soul and body after the process. It could be done before the process. Heck, the doctor probably starts cutting them up before he even does this stupid process. The guy doesn't seem to be very empathetic when he's carving flesh. So my opinion is that the hunter was not too gone, went to the doctor, came back, but due to the signal's corruption, basically exemplified his core qualities like they did with the teacher and the doctor, and then he became this violent person who tried to bring his family back to life by using his taxidermy skills, but at the same time he was well aware of the signal, and thereby that's why we only see one television in the entire area. That was likely the TV that consumed his family, which is why it's strung up far away from his home. He doesn't want to be exposed to it, but he can still use it as a trap for viewers in case they come close to his property. It also would explain why he's not affected by the light. He hasn't undergone the process completely, which means light doesn't stop him, but at the same time it also explains why he's killed by the shotgun. He's still partly human and not an inanimate object like the mannequins that we encounter in the hospital. But of course, this is just my theory, and of course there are hundreds of theories about who the hunter is swarming around the internet, and this is just what I think he is. He's a failed mannequin or an escaped mannequin from the Pale City who's trying to live in isolation, but due to the corruption of the signal has become this hyper-aggressive and radical hunter who kills and tries to replicate his family. But this is just my theory. If you have your own, let me know in the comments below. Consider liking, subscribing, joining the channel if you want to go the extra mile, and check out my other Little Nightmares 2 content. I have full walkthroughs, boss encounters, and an end and explain if you want to go deeper into this incredibly bleak universe. Till next time, thanks for joining me. Stay awesome, everyone.